This is Matt for Behind the Gloves in association with S-Jam Boxing. I'm delighted to be joined by Eddie Hearn. Eddie, it's the first time we've met. I appreciate the invite coming here. Gibraltar, Rumble on the Rocks. How pleased with everything so far?
Fantastic. I don't know how you punched your way on the plane, but congratulations.
Got a free ticket somewhere. I thought I'd come along.
For your first one, well done. It's been a great experience today. I think the general feeling is everyone's pleased and happy and lucky. I think probably what lockdown and COVID's done is probably made us appreciate things a little bit more. We're out here, stunning environment, sun shining, got a massive show on Saturday night, and we should be really we should feel very lucky, and we're proud of what we put on, and we look forward to a great show Saturday.
Yeah, I have to admit, when the thought of going on a plane in these times, especially to a climate like this where you've got the sun coming down and pay-per-view boxing on a Saturday, it is a bit of a treat. You sort of give a bit of a thank you message on the plane to everyone for all the hard work. How difficult was it securing this site and getting this fight on in this particular environment? Really difficult, and actually it would have been a lot easier not to do it. Yeah. But we've got this sort of strange mentality, not just me, but everyone at Matchroom, that same with Fight Camp. When we had that idea, people went, "Are you mad? What are you doing?" And that was one of the biggest successes we've ever had, I think. And I think this is another success coming here. We love to put shows on around the world. Of course, the problems that we're facing with logistics and isolating and testing, it's a complete nightmare. It's a disaster. And shout out to the team at Matchroom, done a fantastic job. Especially the people behind the sort of logistics and admin, Karen, Mandy, Bella, Alex, and I have to say a special shout out to Darren Fleurs, who sorts out the logistics for everyone, who always moans that I never mention him. So thank you to him, and John Hill and Ross and Frank and everyone. Everyone's done a great job. Do you think that's what sort of separates Matchroom, from your opinion, than other promoters, that you're willing to try these different things? Like you had Fight Camp in HQ, in back garden, you come into Gibraltar, Rumble on the Rock. It always seems like quite unique whenever you put on this type of show. Yeah, we like to push the boundaries, and we like to do things that we feel others can't. And you do that by having a great vision, but also by having a great team. And we've got a tremendous team of people that are very talented, and they've all come from not the ground up, but from a young position of people like Frank Smith and Ross and Alex and Bella, and Karen's been there many years. And we've got a great environment at Matchroom where everyone loves to achieve, and everyone likes to push each other, and everyone likes to take challenges and risks. And I just feel that when you're watching this from back home and you're seeing the pictures and the images, you're thinking, wow, that's unbelievable. And I want to have that effect on people. I want people to think like that about our sport. I don't want to just be in a dark room somewhere with boxing kicked to the sideline. We're always trying to push the boundaries, and I think this is a great example of that. Moving on to the fight card in general, obviously we'll get on to Dillon in a minute, but there's some absolutely cracking fights which, there's 3 or 4 that could steal the whole show, including the debut of Campbell Hatton. Talk about the card and sort of what excites you about the fights that you've put on. Some great fights. Well, Pete, everyone likes 50-50s, don't they? And I think you've got a lot of those across the board. I mean, even starting, I think Pfeiffer against Nick Webb is a great little fight that sort of emerged from nowhere. You've got Kumari against Kane Baker, another 50-50 fight. You've got Congo against Mickinson, 50-50 fight, tremendous fight. For me, I think the fight of the night is probably Cheeseman against Metcalfe for the British title. That's another 50-50 fight. Even Fabio against Molina. I think Fabio's the favourite in that fight, but Molina's very, very experienced. And then you've got Whyte, and you've got even Campbell Hatton making his pro debut. And although his opponent's record doesn't look that appealing, he actually can fight, and he's just a kid who gets slung in with all young prospects. So it's going to be difficult for him. So I think it's a tremendous card. Of course, everyone will be talking about the main event and the drama of that big heavyweight fight, and particularly the first fight. But I'm looking forward to it from start to finish. Cheeseman Metcalfe just could be an absolute war. That's going to be one, especially if Cheeseman's performance against Sam Egerton's out to go by, where them two just went at it from basically start to finish. Do you envisage something of the same for this one? Yeah, I think so. I don't see anything else. I mean, Metcalfe loves to come forward, Ted loves to fight. Ted's engine is unbelievable. That division at the moment is fantastic. Great win from Fowler last week. Scott Fitz is coming back. You got Kieran Conway's about to jump into a really big fight. Josh Kelly might be moving to 54. But this fight is one that's going to sort of, I think, start opening up all those other fights. Cheeseman, the winner of this fight, I think should fight Anthony Fowler. That's what I think, and I think that'll be a brilliant, brilliant fight. Sticking on that division, where are we with Scott Fitzgerald? Because obviously the rematch between him and Anthony Fowler was highly talked about for the last year. Obviously I know he's had his personal issues, but where are we at with Scott?
I'm looking to bring him back on May the 1st.
Yeah.
I want to make the Fowler rematch badly. So does Fowler, so does everyone, but we can't wait on Scott for too long. Fowler's keeping his nut down, Fowler's grafting away. Fowler deserves the big fights now. I love Fowler against Sergio Garcia, I love Fowler against the winner of Cheeseman and Metcalfe, but I also love Fowler against Fitzgerald probably in October when the crowds are back, in Liverpool. But Fowler will box again this summer, so it's he's ready now. He's 30 years old, so he wants to take those big challenges, and I think he's in the form of his career so far.
Moving back to this event now, Dillon White, we just watched his open workout. He looks in tremendous shape, maybe even better than what he did the first time round. How nervous are you going into this fight Saturday night? Because it's one of these fights where, it leaves him in a bit of a position if he doesn't manage to get the win of where do you go from here kind of thing. How nervous are you going into this?
Very nervous, but that's good. I mean, it's good news for the event, good news for fights. If I'm nervous, we know we've got a great fight on our hands. And you watch Povetkin pound the pads earlier, and you just think back to fight camp and that left uppercut, and it's so exciting. Listen, I'm going to be petrified on the night, especially with the big boys. One punch changes everything. But Dillon's just got to be composed and take this opportunity. He's done all the hard work. He was controlling the fight last time before he got caught. And he's got to try and find a way to win on Saturday. And it's absolute must win.
A lot of fighters, when they come back into a rematch after taking defeat the first time, they can be a bit tentative, especially with the way Dillon lost the first fight. Is that a bit of a concern? Do you think he will come into this tentative and sort of having a feeling out process, or will he just sort of go hell for leather and trust his gut?
I actually think the reverse. I think he will feel like he kind of let Povetkin off the hook last time, and if he gets him hurt, he's got to jump all over him and end it. But that's really dangerous because Povetkin's always in there. He's always looking for a mistake. He can counter punch as well, as we saw. It's just a very dangerous fight. You've got to control him. You got to stay smart, you got to stay switched on, you got to stay disciplined. But when you do get him hurt, you got to try and get him out of there because he's always going to be dangerous while he's on his feet.
So Dillon White to win by knockout, is that what we're saying for Saturday?
I'll tell you one thing's for sure, I ain't going 12 rounds. I think it's going to be a brutal knockout either way, but I tip Dillon White for the win.
If Dillon does win, he's in the situation again, not that we're looking past Povetkin, because you see him bang the pads earlier, it's absolutely no joke. Where does he go after that? Because obviously we're thinking that AJ and Fury are going to fight next, potential rematch. He's going to be in a position where he's almost waiting for his world title shot again. Will it just be a case of him looking for the biggest fights possible like he has been doing?
I think so. I mean, to be honest with you, right now, the waiting for a world title shot is a really nice problem to have. Let's win on Saturday, and then we'll look at how we're going to get a shot at that world heavyweight title. But once you win and you regain that mandatory position, nice problem to have.
Would you love to see a fight between him and Deontay Wilder? I know that fight was talked about a long time and it never came about for one reason or another. Is that a fight you'd like to see Dillon have with Wilder?
Yeah, we've wanted that fight for a long time. I mean, Dillon earned the right for that fight. He was mandatory for Deontay Wilder. He never got the shot. He called him out for years and years, and Wilder, I think, even DM'd him and said, "I'll never let you fight me." So, and then he got knocked out himself, and then he's calling out Dillon White. So we'll see. Look, again, all these problems are nice to have. Let's get through Saturday first.
I'm sure you're bored of this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. AJ Fury, where are we at with it? I spoke to Tyson a couple of weeks ago. He seems more just, I'd want to fight. I'm getting to that point where I want to fight. I don't care who it is, because he's been out of the ring a long time now. Where are we at with it? Is there a deadline or a cut-off where this deal has to get done?
Probably in the next 3 weeks. I mean, next week I'm out travelling to a lot of places to try and close site deals. I had a great call with Bob Arum the other night. We're all working hard, we're all focused. Everybody wants that fight to happen next. Everybody's signed for that fight. So, we'll have to do our work and hopefully deliver the date and venue for everybody soon.
Have we got an idea, or can you give us a bit of insight on where that location be? You said, I think, before that there was a bit of a spanner in the works from an unknown location or from somewhere.
We've had a couple of new offers come in from people we were talking about. Of course, we got multiple offers from the Middle East as well. We know that it's very hot in the Middle East in June or July. I'm sure they'd prefer it a bit later in the year, but what is in play and what is on offer is a fight in June or July, and that's what we'll be delivering.
Moving on to another card that's just been announced, Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker. That fight was scheduled to happen before, but Joseph Parker had to pull out of the fight. Some very interesting matchups on that. Can you just talk about that card and how pleased you are with how it's come together? We've got the return of Chris Eubank Jr. amongst other names. How pleased are you with how that card's come together?
Yeah, I think top to bottom it's probably one of the best cards we've ever put on. I mean, Chisora Parker is a great heavyweight fight. Katie Taylor against Natasha Jonas is a massive fight, rematch from the Olympics. Dublin against Liverpool there. You got a tremendous light heavyweight fight and a dream chance for Craig Richards to fight Dimitri Bivol, who I think is one of the pound for pound stars. And you got the return of Chris Eubank against Manchester's Marcus Morrison, and you got 2 more fights to come as well. So huge night on May the 1st and a lot of great matchups.
Chris Eubank Jr., I remember before when you were trying to make the fight with Golovkin, it was very difficult to get it done, and you cited for whatever reasons. Does it make it a lot easier now that he's signed with the Sauerlands? Yeah. So you can have that sort of bridge between fighter, promoter or manager to get the deal done? Has that been a big benefit of him signing with them? Yeah,
I don't think we would have got it done without Calla, because we've got a good relationship with Calla. He's sensible, and he sees a path for him as well, and this is a good fight for him to come back with. He's been out a long time. Marcus Morrison's coming off a good win in Italy to get himself in the world top 15, massive chance for him. But I think Chris Eubank sees it as, let me get out, do a job on Marcus Morrison, and then land a big fight in the summer.
One of the other cards coming up, the Conor Benn card, we've got Ebony Bridges. Yeah. She's fighting for the world title against Shannon Courtney. Quite a big fight, bit of needle, yeah. People blocking people on, and one denying it, one not. Where do you see the winner of that fight? Is that going to be the winner going to fight Rachel Ball, or is there rematches in play?
Shannon Courtney was supposed to fight Rachel Ball, and originally Rachel Ball was supposed to fight Ebony Bridges. Ebony got injured, and then we made Shannon Courtney against Rachel Ball. Rachel Ball still has a problem after a COVID illness, so Ebony Bridges steps in to fight Shannon Courtney. So, look, win or lose, those girls in that division have got loads of round robins. Not just those 3. You've got Ramla Ali, you've got Ellie Scottney, you've got Amy Timlin, you've got Lisa Whiteside. You've got all these good fighters at super bantamweight or bantamweight and around there. So, I think there's going to be a lot of big fights taking place between all those. But obviously, the winner of that fight will become world champion. I want the winner of that fight to fight Rachel Ball in the summer. Obviously, we wish her well. We hope she gets back to full fitness. But yeah, Shannon against Ebony's really shaping up. And of course, you've got Savannah Marshall against Femke Hermans as well. Another good fight. Cash Farouk on that card as well. But yeah, I think by the time it comes around, Bridges against Courtney is one that a lot of people are going to be talking about.
We're talking about schedules and we've mentioned a couple of cards. Do you think, in terms of a schedule that you've put together, even with these difficult circumstances, that this is probably the best schedule you've put together, for a year? Because you've been in so many different countries, just rattling cards out.
Yeah, we're trying. We want to try and do a show a week. No one's seen a schedule like what we've been putting together. I mean, coming off the back of Chocolatito against Estrada and Eubank against Saunders May the 8th, tremendous fight. We have Devin Haney hopefully against Linares end of May. You got Andrade against Williams, great fight on April 17 as well. Got Povetkin against Whyte. You got Ben against Vargas and a great card there. You got Joseph Parker, Katie Taylor against Jonas. Eubank, Bivol, Richards. It's unbelievable. So I don't know what it is about us. It's like just when it gets harder, I want to do more. I don't know why. So yeah, listen, maybe when things open up and I'll have a few months off, but I doubt it. We've got a big global plan and we're well on the way.
Well, Eddie, thanks very much for your time. I know you've always got stuff to do, so I appreciate you talking to Behind the Gloves, and hopefully we'll catch up tomorrow and on fight night. So yeah, appreciate your time, bud.
Oh, hey there, fight fans. Didn't see you there. If you guys haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go to do so by clicking right here, or else.